This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Sitting at a jail for something I didn't do and nobody listened to me. First at 6 o'clock, identity theft can lead to financial and credit problems, but it usually doesn't land the victim in jail. But that happened last month to a Speedway woman when someone used her stolen ID to take a car for a test drive and stole the car. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nicole Griffin. RTV6 first brought you this story when the woman was still in jail for a crime police and prosecutors now say she didn't commit. Tonight, she's only telling her story to RTV6's Graham Hunter.
Kristen Parr got a letter in the mail saying she had a warrant for her arrest in Greenfield for auto theft and tells me she called the Greenfield Police Department to try and figure out what she should do. She says the detective told her she should come down a few days later and give a statement the following Monday. Instead, Marion County Sheriff's deputies showed up at her house that night and arrested her and took her to jail in Greenfield where she would sit for the next 4 days. Police in Greenfield now say the person in this picture actually committed the crime, but she hasn't been arrested for it. Instead, Parr went to jail. She was arrested on a Thursday night, but Hancock County government offices were closed for a local festival, so she didn't get a court date that Friday and had to wait 4 days until Monday morning when all the charges against her were dropped. But Parr tells me she never should have been arrested because this happened twice before. Someone used her ID to steal a car from a dealership, and she had all the documentation to show Greenfield police she wasn't the person responsible for stealing the car.
It's just horrible. I hope nobody ever has to go through it. Like I said, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It was completely horrifying and life-changing. I don't ever want to do it again.
Parr tells me she's still trying to figure out what her next steps will be and wants to make sure that she doesn't carry a record of this arrest forward in her life for a crime she didn't commit. Most of all, she wants to make sure it never happens to her again. Coming up tonight at 11, we'll have more on what she's been going through since February, leading up to her arrest last month. Working for you in Speedway, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Graham, thank you. Now to the west side of Indianapolis, where 1 minute people were enjoying Sunday church service, and then the next minute, this happened. Firefighters say everyone inside Bethany Rembrandt Church of God was able to evacuate before the building collapsed this morning. IFD crews were called to the church on Edgemont Avenue around 11:15 on a report of a fire. Pastor Eric Floyd says the sanctuary is destroyed.
Nobody was hurt, so that's the first thing. I'm grateful no one was hurt. The building could be replaced. It's just brick and mortar. We're just going to trust God. You know, he's never let us down yet, and we're just going to wait on him to show us what to do next.
Firefighters say the cause of the fire is still under investigation, but foul play is not suspected. Now to the forecast. It is comfortable outside right now, but a cool down is on the way. Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kyle Mounds joins us now.
Yeah, Nicole, enjoying a sensational Sunday here across central Indiana, and temperatures bouncing back nicely after starting off in the 30s. 65 right now in downtown. Camera bouncing a little bit there as we look from the IMS Pagoda with that southwest breeze around 15 to 20 miles per hour, but that has helped temperatures to get into the lower middle 60s, even 70 degrees for you right now in Sullivan at 66 in Greenfield, and Crawfordsville coming in at 63 degrees. Heading out there this evening, you will want to take along that jacket because with the clear skies, temperatures fall pretty quickly. We're into the lower 50s by 10 o'clock. And once again, some areas dealing with some frost as we'll have those temperatures near the freezing mark, clear skies and calm winds. It looks like primarily northwest of Indy. That's where we've got that frost advisory through Monday morning with temperatures in the middle 30s.
Kyle, thank you. Economic projects around central Indiana could be created or advanced this week as more than 1,000 developers gather here in Indianapolis. The annual International Economic Development Council kicks off today. This year's theme is Driving Growth, the race for talent, innovation, and place. The conference goes through Wednesday at the Indiana Convention Center and JW Marriott. Just days after President Trump made the decision to pull back U.S. troops in northern Syria, the situation is taking a turn for the worse. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi has the latest.
Following President Trump's decision to pull back about 30 U.S. troops from Syria's northern border, Turkey's brutal assault on U.S.-backed Kurdish troops and civilians continues. This video obtained by the New York Times appears to show Kurdish prisoners lying on the ground moments before being executed. The president taking to Twitter Sunday defending his decision, writing, quote, "Very smart not to be involved in the intense fighting along the Turkish border." ABC News confirming the president has ordered a full withdrawal of about 1,000 troops from the north, even as the administration denies its original troop pullback contributed to this deteriorating situation.
Let's be clear, the United States is not allowing this. Turkey committed this action. They decided to make an incursion in northern Syria despite our protestations, our urgings not to do it.
The administration now says it is ready to impose severe sanctions on Turkey.
What's the holdup? Why don't you just impose these sanctions?
These sanctions could be starting small. They could be maximum pressure, which would destroy the Turkish economy.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who has been uncharacteristically critical of the president's decision to withdraw troops, today writing, quote, "Good decision by President Trump to work with Congress to impose crippling sanctions against Turkey." The Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer plans to demand a vote on the Senate floor opposing the president's decision, which he says would undo a largely successful strategy that has crippled ISIS.
We have never had a president like this who makes such strategic and important decisions on a whim that leads to such detrimental effect.
The Kurdish-led Syrian Defense Force warns Turkey's attacks will continue to allow ISIS fighters to flee prisons, leading to a resurgence of the terror group. The SDF confirming to ABC News if the U.S. won't stop the Turkish attack, it will turn to Russia for help. Mona Kosar Abdi, ABC News, Washington.
And now to the latest on the impeachment inquiry into President Trump. Tomorrow, the House panels leading the investigation are expecting to hear from a former top Russia expert at the National Security Council. And the U.S. ambassador to the European Union is set to testify Thursday. According to the Washington Post, Gordon Sondland plans to tell Congress that his quid pro quo denial was dictated to him by President Trump. He's also expected to say that he doesn't know if the president was telling the truth at the time, according to the Post. Sondland and the White House have not commented on the report. Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb is declaring this week Indiana Move Over Week. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the Hoosier State's Move Over Law. In 1999, Indiana became the first in the country to pass a law requiring drivers to move over or slow down when driving by an emergency vehicle stopped along the side of the road. The legislation was originally introduced and passed after the death of Indiana State Police Trooper Andrew Winzenreed. He was killed while assisting a stranded motorist on I-74 in Dearborn County. Well, you are invited to pay your respects to an Indiana State Trooper who died Friday night. A police car is parked on the front lawn of the State Police Post on State Road 43 North in West Lafayette in honor of Trooper Peter Steffen. Investigators say the 27-year-old was responding to assist another trooper when his patrol car veered off Old State Road 25. A foundation has been set up if you'd like to make a donation to his family. You can find that information by going to the RTV6 app and clicking on this story. A fun event in Johnson County today shed light on and raised money for serious causes. The group 148 Ministries hosted a car show at the Suds in Greenwood. The organization helps abused and addicted men and women. Pastor David Storvik says 148 embraces people who may feel rejected by society and encourages others to do the same.
And I think sometimes, people that are marginalized, so to speak, people will avoid them. And so we don't do that. We go frontline ministry. What we try to do is we try to explain the mission of the ministry to like local churches, people that want to get involved, that type of thing, that normally wouldn't have an opportunity to be in front of these girls or men, for that matter.
The ministry says money raised from today's event will go directly to help abused and addicted men and women in the local community.
She was massacred in her house. She wasn't killed. She was murdered.
How could this happen? That's the question tonight after a concerned neighbor asked police to check on his neighbor, and she ended up dead at the hands of an officer. And health officials say you should get your flu shot within the next few weeks, where you and your family can get vaccinated at a special low-cost clinic. Kyle.
We've got a cold front about to slide through central Indiana. We'll talk about the impact that will have on your Monday forecast and also the temperature roller coaster ahead. You're watching RTV6 News at 6.
$49 per month.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Family, friends, and community leaders are demanding answers after a Fort Worth, Texas police officer shot and killed this woman here inside her own home. Police released some body camera video of the shooting.
Put your hands up. Show me your hands.
The officer killed 28-year-old Tatiana Jefferson early Saturday morning. Police went to her home after a concerned neighbor called a non-emergency line because he noticed lights on in the house and an open door. The officer is not heard identifying himself in the body cam video. He looks through a window with a flashlight, shouts commands, and then shoots. The man who called police says he was trying to be a good neighbor by calling authorities.
No domestic violence, no arguing, nothing that they should have been concerned with as far as them coming with guns drawn to my neighbor's house. I feel bad because had I not called the police department, she would probably still be alive today.
An attorney for Jefferson's family says she was up late playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew. The police department released a statement saying it shares the deep concerns of the public and is committed to conducting an extremely thorough investigation. The search continues for one person trapped in the rubble of a hotel that collapsed in New Orleans yesterday. Overnight, rescue teams found the body of a second victim. ABC's Marcus Moore reports the area around the building is still considered unsafe.
The neighborhood surrounding the partially collapsed Hard Rock Hotel still inaccessible and dangerous.
It's not safe right now. It is not stable. The area is unstable right now, and safety is top priority.
Buildings have been evacuated over concerns the remaining structure could collapse completely. Construction cranes at the site now dangerously unstable.
We also have some pretty large cranes that are moving into place in an effort to try and stabilize that crane that's attached to the building.
Residents forced out of their homes left in limbo.
We don't know when we can go back to you.
First responders continuing their search and rescue efforts. One person still thought to be trapped under the rubble. The city's French Quarter rocked by the tragedy.
Reported to be a building collapse at the Hard Rock Cafe. The incident right here looks like the top floor down.
This terrifying video showing people running for their lives.
Look at those guys running.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God.
A menacing cloud of dust and debris surrounded this trolley.
Get to the back. Get to the back.
More than 24 people taken to the hospital for treatment.
We are so thankful that the majority of those people that went to the hospital, all but one, were discharged.
Officials promising a thorough investigation into the cause of the collapse once all of the victims have been recovered. Marcus Moore, ABC News, New Orleans.
Marcus, thank you. The Centers for Disease Control recommends you get your flu shot by late October. If you don't know where to go or you're having trouble affording the vaccine, the Marion County Health Department will hold another low-cost clinic on Tuesday. It goes from 9 a.m. to noon at the Indiana Chin Baptist Church on Madison Avenue on the south side. Shots cost $20 for adults and children ages 2 to 18. Vaccines are free for kids younger than 2. You can find a full list by going to the RTV6 app and clicking on this story. Are you ready for some basketball? The Pacers took the court at Bankers Life Fieldhouse this afternoon for the team's annual Fan Jam. The free event included a scrimmage, live music, and family activities.
When I was a kid, I was a huge Pacers fan. Reggie Miller was the man, and we're just raising our boys to love the Pacers also.
Who's your favorite player?
Victor Oladipo.
Why?
Because he's a real NBA good athlete. Miles Turner, because he dunks.
Yes, they are so cute. Well, the Pacers season tips off on October 23rd. Kyle, my dad has been texting me during preseason. Go Pacers, go Pacers. We're counting down.
And those kids look like some good stand-ins for Boomer there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some nice face paint going on. Good time to enjoy some sports and also a little time outdoors today, because after that chilly morning, it warmed up nicely there with that sunny sky. As we look at the view north from downtown Indianapolis, we've had wall-to-wall sunshine all day, but you'll look there around the horizon, you can see this band of cloud cover that's associated with a cold front off to our north this evening. We'll look at that in a second. Right now it's 65 in downtown, 66 for you in Bloomington, and close to 70 degrees right now in the Muncie area. Again, it's been on a gusty southwest wind at times. Right now, starting to taper off a little bit, generally 10 to 20 miles per hour. And as we get to sunset and beyond, those winds will relax a little bit. But here is that cold front, not going to be bringing us any precipitation along with it, but it will bring in another shot of some cooler air, and temperatures as we go through the next few hours really starting to slide pretty quickly here as we have those clear skies in place. We'll be into the lower 50s by 11 o'clock, sliding through the 40s and into the 30s by tomorrow morning. And again, we could have a little bit of patchy frost out there. Kokomo at 34 degrees as well in Lafayette. And we've got that frost advisory that extends from Hendricks County right through Crawfordsville with temperatures in the middle 30s, 37 in Indianapolis. So even though Indy's not officially in that frost advisory, still some patchy frost is going to be possible because we're looking at overnight lows into the upper 30s all the way into Seymour and Bedford at 39 degrees. So a chilly start once again to our Monday, and we are going to have the sunshine back here once again. So as we plan out your Monday hour by hour, notice the temperatures, they're not going to warm real quickly here. So you are going to need that jacket right on into the lunch hour with temperatures in the middle 50s, and into the afternoon about 60, lower 60s for the afternoon high. Today, of course, we made it into the middle and upper 60s. 62 in Indy, middle 60s for you in Columbus. Will be a little bit cooler though the farther north and west you go, upper 50s for highs, Lafayette into Peru and Kokomo. Tuesday though, we warm up again, 72 degrees with partly sunny skies. And as we look at TrueCast, this is 5 o'clock Tuesday evening. We'll have the clouds around. I think we're dry most of the day. Then as we get into the evening and overnight hours, rain, a few thunderstorms going to be possible. Could have some gusty winds and heavy downpours in that. That moves through, and that sets us up for more of this temperature roller coaster, kind of back and forth over the next 7 days of our forecast. We're going to go from a high of 72 on Tuesday to just 54 on Wednesday with mostly cloudy skies. It's going to be breezy too, so a rather chilly and raw day there. At least we'll be drying things out. Sunshine is back for Thursday and Friday with highs in the 70s by next weekend, Nicole.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Coming up next, a major announcement in a legal battle over fires that could impact millions of car owners. What two major automakers are offering to customers. If you're one of the millions of car owners impacted by engine fires, a $760 million settlement is in the works. The proposed deal would give customers cash payouts and lifetime repairs. I-Team investigator Jackie Calloway from our Scripps station in Tampa says this is the first time automakers Kia and Hyundai have been willing to take responsibility in open court for the fires.
Since April 2018, the I-Team exposed thousands of Kia and Hyundai fires.
I'm okay, but my car's on fire.
Now the automakers say they want to settle class action lawsuits related to these engine fires. If this $760 million settlement goes through, it could affect more than 4.1 million car and SUV owners in the U.S. The Hyundai models include the Sonata, Santa Fe Sport, and Tucson. This also affects certain Kia models, the Sportage, Sorento, and Optima with 2 and 2.4-liter GDI engines. Last year, the I-Team was the first to expose fuel leaks resulting from improper repairs during engine recalls were sparking some of the fires and narrow escapes.
A car is blowing up, and the people just removed the baby.
Getting in the car, you shouldn't have to think about what's the fastest way to get to your son if necessary.
Kia and Hyundai issued recalls earlier this year after the I-Team interviewed a Kia whistleblower who claimed he warned the company about engine fire hazards back in 2017. How did the higher-ups react?
The warranty operations manager was not receptive at all. She didn't think that it was something that we should look at.
More than 100 people have been injured, and one man burned alive when his Kia Soul caught fire.
I don't want what happened to me for another mother or father to go through.
The Kia Soul model involved in that man's death is not part of the settlement so far. The millions of drivers who are covered would receive cash reimbursement for repairs, refunds for related towing and rental cars, and a lifetime warranty coverage for engine repairs. Now here's a live look outside from our Pagoda camera right now as we wrap up a beautiful Sunday. Kyle will be back with a final check of your forecast after this break.
Budget stretches further at Mattress Firm.
Bit of a frosty start again on Monday morning. With sunshine back in the forecast, temperatures will recover into the lower 60s Monday afternoon. It does get warmer on Tuesday. We'll find temperatures into the lower 70s, then that chance for showers and storms, especially Tuesday evening and night. But then it brings in another round of some cool temperatures. So you're going to need pretty much everything this week, from the pants to the shorts to the heavier coat.
Be prepared.
That's right.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 11 o'clock.